Hello Internet, Dave here, and welcome to my Let's Build for the Seraphon Bastiladon. The Seraphon were once known as a Lizardman, this highly armoured mobile tank I will build with a solar engine. This lovely dinosaur, I will paint him, spray him and build him for you with the help of my other half, Dark Sylveon. So let's go outside and start the spraying. So here is what the parts look like on their trays unsprayed. You can see all the carapace armor, the body, the head, all the bits and pieces. I am going to spray it now with Chaos Black and then Caliban Green. As you can see, I've done the shell armor bits the green and left the other bits and pieces black, as well as the skinks that ride on top of the Bastiladon. I've also sprayed green as well. So after this we will start the actual building. The reason why I sprayed them on their trays is that it is a bit more easier to do than when fully built, as sometimes when spraying the fully built ones it doesn't get into all the recesses properly and is a lot more difficult to paint, which is why I will be doing mainly the body first of the Bastiladon and then building the solar engine separate. Most of the painting I will do off a screen, but most of the actual building of the base body of the Bastiladon I am going to do on this screen. Now I'm using two cameras for this. For the first bit I am using my older camera, which didn't have a zoom in function or anything like that and was not as good quality, so I apologize for that. And in the later parts I use my newer camera, which has a better zoom function and a higher definition ratio. For the list of paints, not only will you find them in the description below, but I will also tell you about the paints that we used when we get to the painting process. A bit about the Bastiladon from the Lizardmen, or as they're now called, the Seraphon. The Bastiladon is one of the most heavily armoured creatures in the Warhammer world, not only capable of surviving bites from the top predators in Lostria, but also cannon shots as well, due to the multiple layers of armor underneath and the thickness of its hide. Its carapace is said to be stronger than steel. Lustria, for those that don't know, is on the southwest side of the Warhammer world and is rather like South America, mainly that of Brazil and the Amazon rainforest. Very, very mountainous and very thick primordial jungle where things have evolved to be, I'd say, primordial, where everything eats near enough everything else. You even get plants in there that will eat living creatures and trap them in their vines. To overcome this, the Bastiladon has evolved its highly thick armor and a bludgeoning tail that is able to smash through solid steel and even the toughest of brick and mortar walls. Nothing is able to survive it. Because of its thick carapace, it is one of the only creatures in the Lustria that is able to house the solar engine. The solar engine gets so hot because it absorbs the heat of the sun like a massive solar panel and then fires it like a gigantic laser beam at the opponent, melting anything into slag. Now we have finished the Bastiladon base. I didn't do the head because I saved for painting processes, which we're going to start in just a minute. So let me grab Dark Sylveon and we'll start the building. So here we have Dark Sylveon repainting the carapace for me with the Caliban Green. She will also do a shading of it with a lovely darker green, the Way Watcher Green, but apart from that there's nothing else on there that she will paint. For the underside, she is using a base of Rhino hide and then the shade of Scorched Earth. For the solar engine itself, we're going to have a mixture of Balthasar Gold as a base, Leadbelcher as a base, Gridman's Gold as a layer, a dry Golden Griffin base, and a highlight of silver. We also have Leadbelcher Bolt Gun Metal going on to it as well. For some of the finer details, she's also using a sky blue and an ice blue for a base, as well as the fang and layers of rust blue. These are for the more delicate pattern bits on some of the non-golden bits. We are using Bleached Bone and Khorne Red as well for some of the bone parts. As you'll see later, the skinks are not only painted Caliban Green but do have a small layer of Lustrian Green added to their spots, as well as Khorne Red in their eyes. You will see that the reason why I have cut most of the painting for this particular build is that it takes a while. So for my next Warhammer build or Warhammer 40k build, I will do the building as one video and painting as a separate video for your viewing pleasure. One of the reasons why we are doing a double layer of the Caliban Green on the Bastiladon is not only to add a bit more depth and darkness to the carapace, but also to help with the picking up of the finer detail. Why, oh why, have you got your other half, Dark Sylveon, to paint this for you? The short answer is she's just a better painter than I am. And for this particular one, I wanted her to do it. Now she's starting to paint the gem of the solar engine. You can see that she starts with that lovely golden base and works on it from there. She uses a pen lid to get all the angles, and the reason, as I said earlier, I didn't build the whole solar engine to begin with. It's for this very reason, to help with the painting. Now, I am extremely happy to hear when Warhammer 2, the PC game, was announced that Lizardmen will be in it, as Lizardmen were one of my very first Warhammer races, so I will be doing a let's play of them, and spoilers, I'll be going with Krav Maga, the giant lizardmen on a giant dinosaur, for reasons of just pure fun. I will be doing one of those as a series, possibly a Ratman and a Dark Elves as well, just for you to have a go. Now, I do obviously have a lot more Warhammer stuff and Warhammer 40k stuff that needs to be built and painted, which I will do for you in the future. But if you do have any suggestions of models that you'd like to see built and painted, please do feel free to put that lot in the comment section below. Now, I think we have a bit more time for a bit more information of the Bastiladon and what it was based off of. Now, the Bastiladon is based off the Ankylosaurus, a real dinosaur that existed way back in the Jurassic period to late Cretaceous period. This armored dinosaur, like the Bastiladon, had a bone carapace and a very heavily blanched tail. It is said that the Ankylosaurus could bite through the toughest and thickest of trees due to its unique beak, a design which has been put onto the Bastiladon, as well as the beak on its head, as you'll see at the finished product, which, according to the lore of the Warhammer world, can not only cleave a boa tree, one of the thickest trees in the Warhammer world, in half, but also bite through a foot of sheet steel. So reinforced, toughened steel, it can bite straight through that as well. The Bastiladon not only is able to use the solar engine for long range attacks, and its tail for pulvering things into little tiny craters, but also because of its sheer weight can squish a man underneath its foot if it so desired. It is a herbivore like the Ankylosaurus from the dinosaurs. Because of this, had developed these defences for itself. As I said, the Lustrian jungle is a basically plant eat person or creature eat creature world. Even if you are a plant, you can eat meat. The Lustrian jungle, home of the Lizardmen, rich, fertile ground full of ancient knowledge and wisdom, because it's where the old ones that created the Lizardmen and most of the other races in the Warhammer world first came to find servants for themselves. The origins of the Lizardmen is a tale that goes back to a primordial era where the world was dark and largely encased by thick sheets of ice, long before chaos came to the world, in a time for elves, dwarves, or men. The land was ruled by titanic monsters. These enormous creatures battled for dominance and the war for the warmest regions. Those nearer the equatorial band became the most highly contested zones. Some of these life forms were unthinking creatures of pure instincts. Others were established civilizations that rose and fell in a forgotten age. Of that time of eternal twilight, there is little knowledge, although buried beneath the ruins and descent creatures still remain. Into this brutal age came a mysterious race of godlike beings that pride the heavens in silver ships. These strangers, known as the Old Ones, came from beyond the stars, where they ruled an empire that spanned not just the cosmos, but time itself. Their technology was advanced beyond imagination to them. Astrology, astrology, science, alchemy, and magic were one and the same. Each world in the Old One's empire, linked by a gateway. Some were small portals allowing an individual to travel incontestable distances with a single step. Others, often seated in the cold void of space, were passages that large vessels the size of moons could pass through. In their travels across the endless expanse of the universe, one planet caught their eye, for they saw it is a unique with boundless potential. The Old Ones discreased this place world would have essential in their unknown plans, and stellar gates at either pole were created to allow easy access to this hopeful new colony. Before the designs for their newest planet could be fully set in motion, the Old Ones had to reshape it to better their needs. Using powers beyond mortal comprehension, they shifted the planet's orbits towards the warming sun. In this time, the ice sheets retreated. Vagrant forests soon stood over to cover the new revealed land. And that is how the Warhammer world came into being, by the will of Old Ones. The Old Ones needed servants. Thus they spawned the Slan Mage Priests, the Wizards, the very first of the Lizardmen race. They also created the Slan and the rest of the Lizardmen to purge the old world of all that it needed, of all that they deemed unworthy, unfit to be in their light. And here we have the Bastiladon fully painted, as you see. We also have the base that the solar engine sits on, very nicely painted by my love Dark Sylveon, and the solar engine itself with the silver skulls and all that. I'll give you a shot of what it looks like all put together.
And here he is, all built and painted up there. As you can see, if you can see his tongue sticking through there, which is quite fun. If I turn him a little, you'll be able to just make out the red eye there, which we did for niceness. You can see what the shading has layered into his skin with the armour as well, having some bits of dappling shading and wear and tear on the actual armour itself. You can see the bleached bone of the skinks with their shield, with their golden amulets and stuff, with their green spots and their red eyes. Also notice that the tail there has been done. Let's turn it back round for you guys. Zoom out there. Lift up your camera. You can get a nice view of the solar engine. This one, as I said, was done by my other half, the Dark Sylveon. You can see for the rods, she has done them in silver with some blue highlighting, as well as lots of gold brass for the actual solar engine itself and its bit that it sits on. You can see the detail that she's put into the inside there, making the skulls silver. Also, if we go underneath the solar engine as well, you can see that she's also done some detail to the intricate paneling and the symbols underneath. The reason why I have chosen to do the skinks a green instead of the normal blue that you would get for the Lizardmen Seraphon is they are a jungle race, so they would evolved camouflage to hide in jungles there. Give you a nice close-up of the bit that the solar engine sits on as well. Bit too close, but there we have him, the Bastiladon in all its glory with a solar engine. Please do not forget to comment, rate and subscribe. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter. Until the next time, this is Dave. The Bastiladon is built.